coaching call with the lovely Rachel, who many of you have seen on our Balmy Army page, because she is a sharer and she shares all of her plans and successes, which is fantastic. I'm so excited. I can't help it. I was like, get this done. I want to hear it all. So, Rachel, let's delve into your planning and your routine. Ooh. So, let's talk about what we've referred to as the living the dream aspect, so that anybody watching understands your current situation. So do you want to take us through?
Yeah, so I realise I'm in a privileged position, and I don't want to come across as it's easy, because I realise it's not the same for everybody. I don't work out other than being a housewife at home. Yeah, so I don't have a paid job that I've got to do, and I don't have to leave the house, and I can please myself and set my own day up. And I also don't have any children, so I don't have other responsibilities that some of you, I know, well, a lot of the women that come to Caves will have.
Yeah.
And also, not that this is a good thing, but I also don't have family close. So I don't have any responsibilities for family. The only thing I really have is my husband and my cat, and I have a stepdaughter, but she lives in Norfolk. So at the moment I can be quite selfish about my time, and I can be selfish in terms of, like, my husband's at work all day and I'm going to do these things because it's what I want to do for me.
Yeah.
And I realise it's not the same for everyone. So you could say that I'm living the dream, as it were, but I think that I was still living the dream last year, and I wasn't doing any of these things. I still didn't have children last year, and I still didn't have a job last year, but I wasn't doing any of these things. So it isn't just about it's all right and you've got time to do it. It's about your mindset and about deciding that you're going to remove your barriers and change your behaviours to actually achieve something. That's what I think.
Yeah. So in the reality, with the benefit of hindsight now, because you've had 6 months of living this life, and you didn't, it was the same situation last year, you didn't do any of this. How much time does this take?
Not loads, because I think it's about being organised, but I do think that some of I was a retail manager for 20 years at Clark Shoes, and I do feel a bit like some of the things that I've learned at work, I've realised I can apply it to, like, my own personal life and things I want to achieve.
Yeah.
And the things that I use to help me achieve targets and sales targets at work are really helping me achieve what I'm doing at home.
Take the ladies through, because now everybody really loves your posts in Balmy Army where you show your planning. Take us through your sort of planning routine, because I think sometimes when you start to do this, it can feel quite overwhelming. You almost feel like you need to take a day off. I need a whole day to do my planning for the week. And it's really not like that.
No.
Everybody needs help to kind of simplify it and not overthink it. So, and you've got this down to a bit of a fine art now. No pressure. So what day do you do your planning on? Because you know I'm dead.
I know you said to do it on a Wednesday, but for me in my life that doesn't work for me, because we go shopping on a weekend. So I do every single Friday without fail. I plan my meals and my shopping for the week afterwards of what we're going to eat. And like you said, for me, meal planning is really important. And what I've learned is it's all about calories in and energy out, really. But I've downloaded and I use an app called NutriCheck, and I pay for it, and it's really helped me because I am a bit of a tick boxer, and I do like to see things written down. I feel like I've achieved something if I've written it down, what I've eaten. So I meal plan for the week ahead. I look through my recipe books, and I eat pretty much exclusively now for my dinner on an evening out of pinch of nom, because all of their recipes are under 600 calories a portion, and they're packed with veg and really good stuff. And I only buy what's on my shopping list. And I don't want to say that we don't eat anything or buy anything that's not good. On a Saturday, every single Saturday morning, I have a bacon sandwich.
Okay.
And I think that's all right.
Yeah. So that's in the plan.
It's in my plan. So that's what I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. And once I've planned what I'm going to eat, I make my list, and I've got a calendar on my fridge, and I write on my calendar what I'm having for my meal every day. And then on a Monday morning, I then set up my goals and the action scorecards. Now, I don't use the one for food because I have that on my app, and that's what I do, and that works for me. But it's essentially the same thing, and I didn't really want to write it out when I'm already putting it in my newsletter.
No, I agree.
And I also set myself up for the week of things I've got to do on my hinge list.
Yeah, so this is your housework and your chores and the other
housework, everything.
Yeah.
So
all of these things together help to keep you on track, don't they?
Yeah, yes. And then in my kitchen, I've got an area in my kitchen, and I've got a file, which is my fit file, I call it. Yeah. And it's got everything in it, and I've got my X Factor in it. I've got my my little countdown of how many pounds I've lost. It's got my benchmarks in it, and it's got my current week's action scorecards. And on a Monday, what I do is I look at my action scorecard from the week before, and I do 3 what went wells and 3 things to think about for the next week. So as an example, last week, the things on my what went wells were I lost £1 pound even though I was on my period.
Yeah.
Sorry if it's too much information. And I felt like it went well.
That was the crucial aspect of why it went well.
Yeah, because I built my period cravings into my daily calories. So I already knew I was going to eat chocolate last week.
And that was okay.
It was all right. So I bought some Skinny Whips, which are chocolate bars that taste divine, the 99 calories, and I had one every single day.
And that's okay.
That's
Did it
right,
work?
because
you keep it under control?
Yeah, and then I completed my benchmarks last week, which was also another what went wells. And then my things to think about for this week, which we're in now, was how to eat better when I was out and about, because for the first time last week, I went to my sister-in-law's in the garden and we had fish and chips. Yeah. But I had a large and I ate them all. Yeah. And then I felt disgusting afterwards. Like, and I mean, like, physically bad. Yeah. And then in the evening, my husband had some tortilla chips and I ate loads of those as well. Yeah. So I really need to think about, I could have just said to her, just get me a small, but I didn't.
Why didn't you, do you think?
Well, I'd not really thought about it because I thought we would just get there and then she would order it, but she'd already ordered it, and then I felt a bit, I've got to eat it. But I didn't leave anything, and then felt awful for the rest of the day. Yeah. So it's about, one of my things to think about was, what am I going to do when I'm in that situation again? My action scorecard is in the kitchen, so I can check it off and tick box every single day. And then every day when I get up, I've got myself into a routine. So I set myself up for the day. So when I get up, I put on my gym clothes so that I can do a workout. And 90% of the time I do them live, but if I've got to go and do something else, then I will go back to it. And everything that I eat, I've always got my phone near me anyway, but everything that I eat and all of the water that I drink, it's all logged on my app. And when I say that, like, I set myself up by like knowing what I'm going to eat in advance, on my app I already put in during the day what I'm eating on an evening. So one of the things for me is thinking, it's all right, I'll have this for my lunch and then I'll only have that for my dinner. But then you'll end up eating more because you've eaten more at lunchtime. So I set myself a calorie goal, but I already know what calories I've got for my lunch because I've planned in what I'm having for my evening meal. Yeah. And then I might plan in a snack, and sometimes, and it's 100-calorie snack, but I'm starting to get to grips now with the fact, well, I can have like a massive bowl full of fruit and a bit of yogurt, or I can have a tiny little biscuit, and it's really not worth just having the tiny biscuit. I might as well have a massive bowl of fruit.
And a bit of yogurt makes it real special, doesn't it?
Yogurt.
When it came to sitting down and putting this into some kind of plan and putting it into practice,
yeah,
what did you think was going to be difficult? Like in the kind of run up to it, there was things holding you back that you thought were going to be difficult, and then but weren't, and what is actually a challenge?
The things that I thought were going to be difficult were eating a lot less calories, but it wasn't. That isn't difficult. I think the thing that was difficult was changing my behaviours around eating. So I would eat a lot when I was bored, or if I was watching the telly, I would think, oh, I'm just going to have a cup of tea, so I need to have a biscuit.
Yes. Yeah.
So it was more about the behaviours, because in my brain, I knew what I should be eating.
Yeah.
I just wasn't eating those things.
Yeah. What really helps you to get your plans done?
Just doing it, just actually spending the time doing it, and knowing that if I've done it, I'm done for the week then, and I can do what I want, and all I need to then do is just tick it off as I go. I think failing to plan is planning to fail, isn't it? Yeah. And I don't always, like tonight we're having firecracker prawns for our tea, but we were meant to have that on Wednesday, but actually we didn't really fancy that on Wednesday, so we had something different. But
you changed your plans. Shocker.
I know, but it's within the same week, and I think that's fine. Like, if that's not, it's still a good calorie meal, and it's not like I've eaten anything awful. It's not just about having the confidence to be able to for it to fit into your life without going off the rails.
Because if you hadn't planned, that Wednesday night might have been something entirely different.
Yeah, we might have thought, you know what, we'll go and get a kebab.
It would have been,
can't be arsed.
Yeah, that's the reality. But when you've got a plan in place, you don't fear so much. You think, well, I don't fancy that, but I will have this instead.
That instead, yeah.
So plans are definitely made. They should be changed.
Yeah.
I wholly support changing them, because it's got to support the life you're living right there and then in that moment.
Yeah.
And I love the lessons you've learned about planning in the chocolate and even the fish and chips and stuff like that. Once you start putting these things in your plan, it's much more fulfilling sticking to the plan.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what you need. You need that fulfillment of those ticks to spur you on a bit, rather than feeling like you're doing this plan and then not following it.
Yeah.
What you actually need is a plan you can follow.
Yeah. And I think I literally am treating it a bit like a job.
Yeah.
Because you can't just, I've realised that I can't pick and choose. To get any success, I can't pick and choose when I do it. I've got to do it all the time. And it's a bit like when you're working, you can't pick and choose what you do. You've just got to do it.
Yeah.
If you want to achieve something, and it's the same, isn't it?
Yes. It is, because it's a
nerd thing.
Yeah, so you've got to be the nerd about it, and you've got to allocate it the time, the energy and the brain space to get those changes. And it doesn't happen by magic, and it doesn't happen naturally, and you probably have to talk yourself into it. You probably did to start off with. Talk yourself into it every single day, because it's very easy to do what you were doing before, but the consequences are intolerable.
Yeah.
And this is what the path that you've chosen now. And it is about choice. We all get to choose, but it is amazing what you get used to, really, really is, and how quickly you get used to it. So like even doing the planning, you would be lost now.
Yeah, I would.
What would you be like without your plan?
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't not do it now, because it's part of my daily and my weekly sort of things that I do.
Yeah.